Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Obsession for Learning. Here I teach you step by step about design of structure manually and by using software. Okay, without doing delay, let's move to our topics. Today's our topic is about design of beam. We do design as per IS 456 2000s. Here you guys can see available data for designing of beams. Let's see, dimension of beams from preliminary designs is 240 mm into 350 mm, which we have already calculated in our previous video. It's about preliminary design of beams. I have given link in the description, you guys can check it. And cleared length of beam is 5 meters. Unit weight of RCC is equal to 25 kilonewton per meter cubes. I think you guys already know about that. Unit weight of brick masonry is 19.6 kilonewton per meter cubes. For FE 500 and M20 we are designing this beam. For FE 500, Fy is equal to, it is L strength is equal to 500 Newton per mm square. For M20, FCK is equal to, it means compressive strength is equal to 20 Newton per mm square. For the first step, we're going to calculate the effective length. As per IS 450 2000 clause 22.28.b, when you go clause 22.2, effective spans. Okay, here 8.b, for continuous beams or slab. In the case of continuous beam or slab, if the width of the support is less than 1 by 12 of the clear spans, the effective span shall be as in 22.28.a. It means when the width of the column is less than 1 by 12 of the clear spans, then for effective spans we have to go clause 22.8.a. Okay, if not, if the support are wider than 1 by 12 of the clear spans or 600 mm, whichever is less, the effective spans shall be taken as under. For in spans with one in fixed and the other continuous, or for intermediate spans, the effective span shall be the clear spans between supports. Here I am taking the condition seconds. Okay, so my effective span shall be the clear spans between support. Here you guys can see effective length is equal to effective length, and effective span is same. Effective length of beam and effective spans, okay, is equal to clear spans, which is 5 meter. Okay, I hope you guys understanding about that. For step 2, calculation of load on beam. What loads act on the beams? Obviously self weight, slab load, and wall load, right? Okay, 8.a, we are calculating here self weight of the beams is equal to 0.24 into 0.35 into 25. 25 is unit weight of RCC. This 0.35 is depth, 0.24 is width of beam, right? By calculating this value, we are getting here 2.1 kilonewton per meters. Okay, 8.b, load on beam from slab. Okay, here we are designing these beams. Okay, and not only the dead load transfer to the beams, but also the live load and floor finishing load also act on the slab, and that load also transfer to the beams. Okay, here we are considering live load and floor finishing load. Floor finishing load as 1 kilonewton per meter square, live load as 3 kilonewton per meter square, right? As per IS 875 1987 part 2. Here I have written slab load is equal to 3 kilonewton per meter squares. Floor finishing is equal to 1 kilonewton per meter squares. For dead load, we need depth of slab. We haven't done slab designs, so I'm assuming here the depth of slab is 150. Generally, we take depth of slab as 150 mm. That's what I'm taking for calculating the dead loads. Okay. By multiplying this value, this is the depth of slab. By multiplying this value, this one is a unit weight of RCC structure. By multiplying this value, I'm getting a 3.75 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, for total load, it's nothing but just the summation of these three loads: live load, floor finishing, and dead load. And we're getting, by calculating this value, we're getting here 7.75 kilonewton per meter square. This is the load act on the slab. Okay, now for transferring the load from slab to beams, we have here one formula: WLX is WLX by 2 times 1 minus 1 by 3 beta squares. Lx is shorter length and beta is nothing, it is the ratio of longer spans by shorter spans. Okay, before that we have to see the nature of load distribution from slab to beams. Okay, first of all, we have to check the ratio of Ly by Lx, it is the longer span by shorter spans. By calculating this, we are getting 1.25, which is lesser than 2. So it is the two-way slab. In two-way slab, the nature of load distributions is like that. And if we are designing these beams, so the load transferred from slab to beam is from this area. Okay, from this area only. So for that, we have one formula over here. I have already told about it. WLX by 2 times 1 minus 1 by 3 beta squares. W it means total load of slab, and Lx it means shorter length, divided by 2, 1 minus 1 by 3 beta it means it is nothing but it is the ratio of longer span by shorter spans. By calculating this, we are getting here 1.25, and then we are getting 12.2 kilonewton per meters by calculating this value. Okay, 8.c we are calculating here load of the wall on beams. Obviously wall load also act on the beams. So here 0.23 is it is a thickness of wall, and 3 minus 0.35 it is the height of wall, and 19.6 it is um, unit weight of brick masonry, right? So by calculating this value, we are getting here 11.95 kilonewton per meters. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about how we calculate the height of wall. For calculating height of wall, actually the height of wall is from lower floor up to the lower surface of the beam. Okay, if we subtract depth of beam from floor to floor height, then we're gonna get the height of wall. That's what am I doing here. Okay. Okay, after that, we can calculate total load. It is nothing but it is the summation of A, B, C. Okay, so we're getting here to 26.25 kilonewton per meters. For factor loads, we're gonna multiply by 1.5 to the total loads. Then we are getting here 39.375 kilonewton per meters. For factor maximum bending moments, here we have one formula, WL effective square by 8. It is nothing but it is the maximum moment formula of UDL. If you guys see here, you guys gonna see kilonewton per meters. It is the UDL load. It means for UDL maximum moment is WL square by 8, right? Okay, that's why we are taking maximum moment of UDL load. So by calculating this, we are getting 123.05 into 10 to the power 6 Newton mm. Okay, for the third steps, we're gonna check for depth. Okay. Okay, for that, we need XU by D value, which is 0.46 for FE 500. Okay, as per clause 38.1, page number 70. For FE 500, the XU by D is equal to 0.46. Actually, look at here, guys. You have to note down one thing. This is not only the XU by D. This is XU limit by D. Okay, and here I'm gonna show you one thing. We are taking XU by D as 0.46, right? This is the value of XU limit by D. Why am I taking 0.46? Because if you guys go here, annex G 8.c, if the value of XU by D is equal to the limiting value, it means this one. If the value of XU by D is equal to this limiting value, this value, then only we can use this formula again. Okay, that's why I'm directly taking here the XU by D as limiting value. Actually this is the limiting value of XU by D. Okay, I'm directly taking this value, so I'm using this formula also. Okay, and by calculating this value, we're getting here D requires is equal to 438.033 mm, which is greater than D effective. Actually this one is a provided depth. Okay, but this one is required depth. Our provided depth is less than the required depth. It means for resisting this moment, at least we need this depth, but we have less than this depth. It means our structure is not safe, our beam is not safe. Okay, so what we have to do is now we have to do, or we have to redesign the sections. For that we have to assume d effective, sorry yeah, d effective, make sure guys you have to assume d effective more than this, okay? And I'm assuming here 450 mm, right? Overall depth, now overall depth is equal to, is nothing, it is the summation of d effective plus effective cover. Effective cover I'm taking as 50 mm, so I'm getting overall depth as 500 mm, okay? For b, b is the d times 1 by 2 to 2 by 3, so I'm taking here 2 by 3 of d, okay? Okay, after calculating this value I'm getting here 333.33 mm, but for more safety I'm taking 350 mm for b. Now after that, again calculation of load on beams, we have to calculate load for beams again, because self weight of beams and load on beam from wall, it depends on the sections. But when we are talking about load on beam from slab, it does not depends upon the sections, so it remains same, it does not change. Okay, for self weight of the beams, our b width and depth of beams gonna change, so we have to calculate self weight of beam again. Okay, here if you guys see 0.35, it is the width of beams, and 0.5 it is the depth of beams. When we multiply it into unit weight of RCC, then we're gonna get here 4.375 kilonewton per meter self weight of beams, okay? Now load on beams remains same, because it does not depends on sections. Okay, it is as 12.2 kilonewton per meters. Load on beam from wall, it changes, because we have to subtract the depth of beam from floor to floor height, then only we get height of wall. And this one is thickness of wall, and this one is unit weight of masonry bricks. After calculating this value, we are getting here 17.15 kilonewton per meters. Okay, now we can calculate the total load. Total load is nothing but it is the summation of these three loads. So we are getting here 33.725 kilonewton per meters. Okay, for factor load we have to multiply 1.5 into total loads, then we are getting here 50.5875, and if we do round up, then we're gonna here is 50.59 kilonewton per meters. For factor maximum bending moment, I have already told you it is the UDL moment. So for UDL moments, our maximum moment is WL square by 8. Okay. So by calculating this value, we're getting 158.1 into 10 power 6 Newton per mm. Again we have to check for depth. When our XU by D is equal to XU limit by D, then only we can use this formula. And XU by D, we are again considering XU limit by the value of XU limit by D, which is 0.46. So by calculating this value, we're getting here 411.153. But now here D required is less than provided D effective. So it means our beam is safe. Now for the step number 4, we have to calculate area of steels. And here for an under reinforcement sections, the area of steel required can be calculated as by this formula. If you go Annex G, okay, if you go Annex G, then you're gonna see this formula. If the value of XU by D is less than the limiting value, then we're gonna use this value, this formula for calculating the area of steel. Okay. Here we are using this formula for calculating the area of steels, and by calculating this value, we are getting area of steel 951.32 mm square. Okay, I'm assuming here 20 mm longitudinal reverse. Then I'm calculating here area of single reverse pi d square by 4 by using this formula, area formula. By calculating this value, I'm getting here 314.159 mm squares. Okay, for number of rivers, what we have to do is, this is total area by area of single rivers, then we're gonna get 3.03, but we are taking here 4 numbers. Okay, now area provided is equal to 4 times 4 number times the area of single rivers, right? If we multiply that, then we're gonna get the provided area 1256.636 mm square. Okay, Now let's check for minimum required reinforcement area. We have one formula over here, 0.85 b into d effective, okay, divided by Fy. Okay, by calculating this value, we are getting a 267.75 mm square. This is at least we need this area reinforcement. Okay, we cannot take less than this area reinforcement. We have already like more than this area, so it is okay. Okay, now for spacings, we're gonna calculate first of all number of spacings. Number of spacing is always less than number of bar. Here number of bar minus 1, it is number of spacing. Okay, here we are getting 3 number of spacings. After that, we are calculating here spacing is equal to width of beam by number of spacings. Okay, width of beam is equal to 350. Why we are taking width of beam? Because our longitudinal reinforcement is we're gonna placed on the width of beams. Okay, not in the depth side, width of on the width of the beams. Okay, that's why I'm taking here width of beams divided by number of spacing. Okay, after calculating this value, I'm getting here 116 mm squares. I'm gonna keep longitudinal river um, as 116 mm spacings. Okay, now so provide full number of 20 mm longitudinal rivers at 116 mm spacing of both top and bottom of beams. Now here you guys can see the longitudinal section of the beams. Okay, let me tell you about what does that 50 mm means. 50 mm means uh, yeah, 50 mm from the interior face of the column we start placing the stirrups. And okay, let me tell you about 2D. What does 2D means? Up to that 2D we're gonna place the stirrups with minimum spacing, right? Because maximum shear force act up to that 2D distance, that's why. And at last L by 3, L by 3 is nothing, but it is the length of cut piece rebar. Okay, that's all. Okay, now we have here on cross sections of beams. These are the longitudinal rivers. Okay, and this one is stirrups. This 350 is width of beam, and 500 is overall depth. D effective is nothing, it is just a effective depth, and it is simply a distance from top surface of beam up to the center of bottom longitudinal rivers. And effective cover is also nothing, it is very simple, it is also center of bottom longitudinal river. Sorry, it is also distance from center of bottom longitudinal river up to the bottom surface of beam. Okay, clear cover, it is also distance from outer surface of beam to the stirrups. And this one is also clear cover, this one and this one also clear cover. Okay, and we have here 20 mm longitudinal rivers. Actually we are using 20 mm longitudinal river here. Okay, and yeah, here one more things. This one is a hook with 135-degree angles and length is 10d stirrup. It means you can say the length of that hook is 10 times diameter of stirrups. Okay, figure longitudinal and cross section of beam. That's all for today. Yeah, at last I have provided node links for you, my friends. Link in the descriptions, you guys can download from there. Okay, I hope you guys are getting some knowledge from my video. If it's, please don't forget to give thumbs up, subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon for getting notifications, and leave comment in the comment sections if you guys have any confusion and difficulty. And stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much for watching my video.